spotlight on Newcastle County, which features all things Newcastle County, Delaware. I'm your host, Melody Kitchen. Today we're going to feature a second part of a two-part series on Christmas Day and the significance of this holiday. Joining us today is the Reverend Dr. Christopher Bullock, President of Newcastle County Council and the pastor of Canaan Baptist Church. Thank you for being here today, Reverend Bullock.
I'm happy to be here, and Merry Christmas to you and the entire citizenry of Newcastle County.
To begin with, I would just like to emphasize that Reverend Bullock is in the Protestant church. So yesterday we spoke with Father Mack, and today we're going to see the other side of Christmas. So can you tell us a little bit about the importance of Christmas in the Protestant church?
Well, Christmas was prophesied in the Old Testament by the minor and major prophets, specifically Isaiah. And when Christ was born, it was perceived as the coming of a new era, specifically the era and dispensation of grace. And what that means is that Christ fulfilled Old Testament prophecy, and it was a miracle insofar as the Immaculate Conception. So the Christmas story in the Protestant church is all about Mary and Joseph and Jesus being born of a virgin, and that's what we believe based on the biblical record and our faith. We were not there to witness it per se, but we believe by faith that it did happen. So Christmas for us is about the miracle of Christ and celebrating his birth, therefore the beginning of Christianity.
I would also like to mention that some people might not know this, but the word Christmas comes from the term Christ Mass. So we're actually using a Catholic term. What are your feelings on that?
Well, you know, the Jewish, Protestant, and Catholic faiths, we have some differences, but in this season, theologically, we come together around the central theme of hope and faith and the celebration of a new beginning. That term is specifically Catholic. We honor and respect that, but ours tends to be more central around the gospel story or the narrative found in the synoptic gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. We celebrate the miracle, not the term Christmas, but the miracle of the virgin birth.
Another thing that people might not know about is that Christmas occurs not long after the winter solstice. And some biblical scholars actually believe that Christ was born closer to October. What's your take on the reason why we would celebrate Christmas in December?
Well, that is a long-standing theological and biblical argument among scholars. I think it's imperative that we not get into the minutiae of when Christmas actually happened. Some scholars believe that Christ was born in April. But for the sake of this season, I think we should not get into whether October or December or April. The fact that Christ came, and we should celebrate the fact of his meaning, which is to bring life, and the scripture says to bring life more abundantly. It is also a time where families come together around the tree. In the Protestant faith, the tree stands for life, new beginning, green, new beginnings, faith, celebrations, faith and family in the Protestant church. Not only do we celebrate Christmas and the birth of Christ this time of year, but we celebrate Christ throughout the year. So I think that's one of the major differences in the Protestant faith. We celebrate his birth, also his burial and his resurrection, which is in entirety the Christian story and narrative.
Absolutely. Can you tell us about some of the things about Christmas that would be uniquely Protestant?
Well, and I invite everyone to come to Canaan Baptist Church this Sunday. We will celebrate Christ by telling the story. in the form of preaching. In the African American church, we have a strong oral tradition where we tell the story from the minor and major prophets into the gospel, that Christ, his birth, was prophesied by the major and minor prophets. And when he came, the star was in the east, the shepherds gathered, there was no room in the inn. Therefore, that was a sign, as prophesied in the book of Zephaniah in the Old Testament, that this would happen. Secondly, this is a time of joy, joyful music in the Protestant church, joyful songs, a time to celebrate the sacred songs and anthems of the Christian faith. Thirdly, in the Protestant church, not only is it a time of celebration of the gospel and worship, but it's a time of family. People come together from around the country at a home, great food, similar to Thanksgiving, but Christ is the central figure of the celebration.
What personally would you say is your favorite part about celebrating Christmas?
You know, we at our church, every year we celebrate by helping children whose parents are incarcerated through the Angel Tree program. This year at the Canaan Baptist Church, which is on Newcastle Avenue in the county, of course, we will help 400 families whose parents are incarcerated, who cannot be there to give gifts to their children. The church, we fill that void. And these families will come to our church this Sunday. We will give them their gifts. So Christmas is about giving back. Many of us are fortunate and blessed. And in the Protestant faith, it's not about us. It's about exemplifying what Christ did. He came to give us life spiritually by faith. Therefore, we feel it is our responsibility and honor to give back. So Christmas for me is about giving back.
That sounds like a really wonderful way of thinking about it. Is there anything else that you'd like to add before we wrap up today's interview?
I'd just like to thank the county executive, Tom Gordon, and his team, and you and the media team of county government for having me in today. And want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And on behalf of County Council, we wish our county executive, Tom Gordon, and his team a Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, and to you and your family.
Well, thank you very much, Reverend Bullock. Thank you for coming in today.
Thank you for
Merry
having
Christmas and Happy Holidays.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, that wraps up this holiday edition of Spotlight on Newcastle County. I hope you enjoyed today's show. Please keep it tuned to NCC TV for news and information on Newcastle County, Delaware. This is Melody Kitchen. On behalf of County Executive Tom Gordon and NCC TV, we wish you all a happy holiday. Thank you very much and take care. Once is a hear words of the cheer